Well, fellow viewers, I've met Malenia, and I have to say, I love everything about except the waterfowl dance.
Blade of Mikola.
Welcome back, Classy Tarnished, to another journal as I journey through Elden Ring to find and defeat every boss in the game. Last time I left you, there were 56 bosses left. Today there are 47, and a big milestone has been achieved this past week as I have made it to the bottom of the Halig Tree and met Malenia, the Blade of Mikola. I think that's what it is. I died 50 times to Malenia and she is not dead. I haven't even unlocked phase 2. So that's how much difficulty I'm having with Malenia. But let's talk about all the good stuff. I have to say, as a boss, I was expecting this most supreme upper tier of BS with Malenia. And I am really not frustrated with this boss at all. This is like the sweetest, most concentrated like delicacy you could possibly have. Her voice acting is beautiful. Her design and her drip is the best in the game. She's got like these armored like toes and armored arms. Everything is cool. Her dance, her fight is just so beautiful. It's perfect. I have figured out how to dodge most of her phase 1 attacks, except the waterfowl dance. I think that's what it's called. That thing, I think I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just can't pull it off. So when it comes at you, I think you're supposed to like just before she launches with like shh at you, you're supposed to roll forward, and then you're supposed to roll like 2-3 more times because she keeps coming at you. It happens so fast, I don't really know how to do it, and that is the only thing I will say is kind of BS at this point, because what the heck? How is a player's... Everything else though is great. There's this move where she kicks, I roll, I hit her. There's a move where she like goes whoosh, and then she goes up into the air. That comboed.
Blade of Mikola.
There's just so many moments and tells which are perfect, and the window to like roll or to do your move is very narrow, but it's there. And when you're in the zone, it's just like, I see it, I roll, I hit it, I see it. Ah! And when you like get into that rhythm, it's just so satisfying. And then you drop a beat and you're just like, oh no, I'm not ready.
I am Malenia.
Another thing that freaking spikes my adrenaline and scares me is her grab. That thing is Alt F4 right there. If Alt F4 had a physical move, it would be this. Her grab, where she just decides, I'm done with you, leaps across pretty much everywhere, grabs you, and then just like, oh!
I am Malenia.
Everything else, really, that's all I can talk about, because I haven't seen what the second half is. I've made it to about just maybe like 60% of her health, and it's just, I can't get into that I just don't know how to dodge the waterfowl thing. I've run away from it once. I thought that was the legit way to dodge it. And then she hit me the second time I tried to run away, because she just keeps coming and coming and coming. She also has a healing thing that sometimes when she hits you, she heals. So that's like an added level of punishment of, oh, you're not good enough, I'm going to heal back now. By the way, I've been doing this at about a level, somewhere between level, I think 118 is where I started the stream, finished at 124. So I was probably fighting her at level 118. I really don't think more levels are going to help me here. I could be level 200. It wouldn't help me, because I have to get better at dodging her. I've died 50 times to her, and I still, like, I got fairly comfortable with her opening moves, but it's that waterfowl dance. If I can get over that, I think I will be in the clear. I have no idea what her phase 2 thing is. I have no idea what the rest of the fight is. I can only assume it's more intense and intimidating, but I really want to get that first half done. And when it compares to all of the other Soulsborne bosses I fought, I have to say, I really enjoy it. It's just so nice, and it's not like the Orphan of Kos, I think is his name, from Bloodborne, where if I recall, he like yells and he just gets more intense. It's actually similar to the Orphan, where you have the dance where you have to see his tail and you have to like dodge, hit, but his phase 2 just gets a little bullshittery. I don't like that. Every other boss, there's some level of frustration aspect to it. In this one, I feel they just balanced it right, where it's the right level of difficulty, the right level of precision, and the right level of reward, that when the player gets it and starts putting it together, you're like, oh, this is kind of easy. And then you like miss a beat and then you fail. So it requires a lot of precision, a lot of concentration, and a lot of studying, but it is by far one of my favorite fights, probably my favorite fight in Elden Ring when it comes to difficult fights. And I'm really looking forward to overcoming this challenge. So I spent about 90 minutes on her, and then I'm like, okay, that's enough. We got like 50 other bosses to go find. Let's go like bring this list down. And every stream, I'm just gonna do maybe a good hour or two of practice on Malenia, and sooner or later, she has to fall. I have to get good enough because she might be undefeated, never lost a battle, but I get stronger every time I lose a battle. Afterwards, I was like, well, what else is left to explore? And everyone reminded me about the sewers, those sewers that I abandoned because I got groped horribly in there. I was like, oh, not the sewers. There was a lot in there. So I went back, I got lost a ton. I freed a dung eater in there. I don't know. Oh yeah, now he's waiting for me outside the inner wall or something. I saw it. He left me a note. He's like, come meet me here and I'm gonna eat your entrails. And I was like,
That's not very nice.
I got lost in the pipe maze for the longest time. Even at one point, I didn't even see that there was a hole in the pipe, but I saw the slug at the ceiling. I'm like, haha, slug, you're not gonna drop on me. I'm jumping to like hit the slug only to find out that there's a hole behind me. And it was like one of those almost like the Wile E. Coyote cartoons from Looney Tunes where he falls off, like runs off the whatever, except I didn't have that cartoon reaction because I fell immediately into a big dark room, which scared me, legit scared me. But I persevered, made it through the pipe maze, unlocked a bunch of shortcuts, and finally came to the boss at the bottom of this disgusting place called Mog, the Omen. Now, the name was confusing me because I felt like this guy could be related to Margit in some ways, because I think Margit, or is it Margot? Well, there's both of them. One of them is the Fell Omen. This one is the Omen. What is the difference between a Fell Omen and an Omen? But they don't really look alike, so I don't know if they're related or not. I was expecting him to be a little bit easier based on just me being over leveled. He put up a good fight, and then when I realized his mechanic of, he just throws like magic blood stuff at you. Okay, well, or burning blood. We'll just dodge that, go in there and kill him. After that, I thought I was done with the sewers until someone told me, no, touch the altar. And then the altar opened into a secret room, which took me to the pit. And this pit has a boss called Gravity. And it is hard to fight this thing. Fight by like platforming your way down this massive pit. I died quite a bit of times. It required so much precision on where to fall, but I finally made my way down there. I got to speak with Malenia at the pit. She's like, stop doing this. Don't go down this pit. But I'm like, well, I gotta see this counter go down or I'm gonna get depressed. And I also met Hayeta, who is the girl who's been eating eyeballs this whole time. So I've made it to the end of her quest line, and she's like, get naked and go through that door. I was like, what should I do? And Malena's like, don't you dare go through that door. And so I'm like, oh man, I have a choice to make. And so I looked at chat. I was like, chat, what should I do? And then they went on emote only. So I was left by myself with one of the hardest decisions I've had to do in this game. Do I listen to the eyeball eating lady, or do I listen to my lovely, maiden? And so I opened the door to see a big fiery 3-fingered hand, and he groped me hard and set me on fire. And the whole chat seemed very upset about that decision. So Malenia is pissed at me. She's like, you're on your own. I'm not going to help you. In fact, I'm going to kill you if you ever become the lord of whatever that I'm trying to be. So I'm like, great. Now my maid, I'm properly maidenless. But then Hayata was all like, oh, right, you're the lord of chaos. I'm all about you. I'm like, yay, I have a new maiden. And then she set herself on fire, and then I was maidenless again. So, oh man, this game is hard. In this same room, I found another hidden room that had a chest, and behind that chest is another hidden wall that takes you to the Undercity. So literally, the sewers just keeps going down, down, down. You go down so far, you make it all the way to the top of the trees that are underneath in that underground area. So I didn't like that area. I explored it a bit. I fell to gravity a few times. I was like, I'm done. Is there a boss here? Everyone said no. I'm like, okay, I'm not exploring this. So at this point, I have been through a lot of emotional damage. I've got Malenia, who has humbled me terribly. I have a sewer that has made me feel very stinky, and I have made unwise choices because now apparently I have locked myself to a very bad ending of the game, which upsets me a little. I do hear that there's a way to reverse it that is quite convoluted, so I might try doing that because it does involve something about defeating Malenia as far as I know. But otherwise, in terms of other bosses, just for sake of being thorough, I went to Liurnia, I've killed 3 other bosses there, including a Clean Rot Knight, which was in a cave I had not seen. Very surprised to see they would have one of these enemies in Liurnia. I do like when they put these like later endgame characters or enemies as bosses in the earlier area, because I'm like, oh, what's he doing here? Why has he ventured here? And I'm like, I'm building already like my whole story around this guy of, oh, he probably left the Halig Tree to like go do something, and he ended up in Liurnia, and of course in Liurnia he's like boss level, and I'm like, that's just so cool. I like that kind of storytelling. Also here, found another death bird. I hate these things. Even worse, I found a death right bird, which is even worse, and I killed both of them. So Liurnia, you are free of death birds. Those things suck. Then I went to Altus because there were more death birds to be had. Killed that one. I think all the death birds are dead, but there are 2 death right birds, one in the snow area, one in Caelid, that are still waiting for me. In Altus, also found a bell-bearing hunter. Again, he was pretty challenging, but I got him killed. And then found a black knife assassin outside of this kind of huge tower where there's someone like holding a lady. That thing died pretty easily. I think inside that tower was an ancient hero of Zamor. Again, another duplicate that we have killed. And then in that plateau area, there's lightning, and there you can once again fight the ancient dragon Lanciax, which I fought in the dream of Fia, I think is her name. So I was surprised to see that dragon there again. So he has been felled, which takes us now to 47 bosses are left, and a very difficult one known as Malenia. So off the top of my head, I think I have 5 or 6 now, probably 6 bosses I've seen and walked away from, leaving about 40 unfound bosses. My chat and community has been fantastic in helping me build a list of what's left. Next stream will be big because I will be collecting the flame from the top of the mountain to burn the tree, and then we're going on a boss hunt. We're going to get this counter down to maybe 30, maybe 25. I'm going to go on a rampage and kill all the bosses I have missed with the help of the community in the chat. So hopefully I will see you there on stream, in the Discord, wherever, on the next journal. And until next time, keep it classy.